This is Nightline.
Tonight, the perfect couple. Disturbing new details of the murders of the Ohio dentist and his wife, shot to death in their own home.
Their smiles were infectious in the video and just throughout life.
Police say by her ex-husband, who has pleaded not guilty.
This was a targeted attack.
What police believe the accused killer did weeks before he allegedly pulled the trigger. Plus, Super Bowl and fashion. From tunnel walks to the halftime show. How the big game is turned into America's hottest runway, where players make those pre-game fashion statements.
I work with a lot of guys on Seattle Seahawks, and guys hit me up, yo, what shirts we got?
Meet the vintage t-shirt dealer to the stars, whose swag might end up on the field. And Jason Biggs, nearly 30 years after assuming teen movie legend status with that scene in American Pie.
I remember being quite nervous, actually, thinking, oh my God, am I really going to do this?
Now on both sides of the camera, making his directorial debut and starring in a home invasion romance.
Confess, or I'll put a hole in your head. Pull the trigger, you coward. I'm not aiming at you, bro. Oh.
What he says Eugene Levy taught him about comedy.
I've learned so much from him.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, sinister new details in the double murder of Ohio dentist Spencer Tepe and his wife Monique. Police now believe the accused killer, Monique's ex-husband, cased the couple's home weeks before he allegedly pulled the trigger.
Spencer, what can I say? From day one, I knew you were something special. I had quite a journey to get to you. Countless bad bumble dates, wrong relationships, and waterfalls of tears. But it was worth every cringing second because it led me to you.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home.
What address?
North 4th Street.
That's what's going on there.
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just came here and he appears dead. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood.
A month after the murders of Monique and Spencer Tepe in Columbus, Ohio, new horrific details are emerging. According to the coroner's report, the couple was shot a total of 16 times. Monique Tepe shot 9 times. Her husband Spencer shot 7 times in the head and chest.
What we've known up until now is that Monique Tepe was shot at least once in the chest, but actually she was shot multiple times in the chest and also in her head and her arms.
The tragic deaths of these 2 young parents, leaving friends and family shattered.
Spencer and Monique were some of the kindest and just most inviting people. They just brought everyone together. The wedding that they had at their house, that was just such a magic moment.
I knew that God was guiding me to my person, and that when I met him, it would be the most magical thing ever. And boy, is that an understatement?
Their smiles were infectious in the video and just throughout life.
I finally found my lobster, and it honestly couldn't be a person with a more beautiful heart. I will love you forever, and I'm so lucky to be Mrs. Tepe.
The lobster line comes from one of her favorite TV shows, Friends.
See? He's her lobster.
Spencer was her lobster, and she was his as well.
They were all about bringing family and community and friends, and you didn't have to be blood to be family.
The disturbing details of what happened in those early morning hours on December 30th, coming to light just days after Monique's ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee, a vascular surgeon, is booked in the Franklin County Jail, charged with multiple counts of aggravated murder.
You can see here Michael McKee being escorted by deputies at the Franklin County Jail. He's in plain clothes, about to be booked on murder charges.
He's patted down and searched, ending up in just his t-shirt and boxer shorts. Next to him is a blue bag that appears to have whatever belongings he had at the time of his arrest.
Mr. McKee was arrested in Rockford, Illinois without incident. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee. And there's a preliminary link to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides.
It's the ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee. They're divorced 8 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. What could possibly be the motive here?
You have Michael McKee, who's a vascular surgeon working at a hospital in Rockford, Illinois, living in this penthouse high-rise in Chicago, allegedly driving all the way to Ohio to commit these murders.
McKee pleading not guilty in an Ohio courtroom last month.
Your Honor, with respect to the allegations, we would acknowledge receipt, waive reading, enter not guilty pleas to all counts contained therein.
Michael McKee and Monique Tepe were briefly married.
Michael McKee was sort of the prototypical popular high school kid. He was a National Merit Scholar, one of the top-ranked people in his class. He was an all-state football player, and then he went to Ohio State University.
Monique and Michael both went to Ohio State University for undergrad. Michael went to medical school while Monique pursued her graduate degree.
Monique and Michael get married. They buy a house in Roanoke, Virginia, which is where Michael is completing his residency to become a vascular surgeon. By all accounts, he's the kind of guy that you'd probably want to date, but the marriage didn't last long. By 2017, they're divorced after only 2 years of marriage.
In looking at the divorce papers, the most remarkable thing is, it's not remarkable. This is a very simple divorce. No shared assets, no children, both having separate properties. They are not compatible, and that's it.
But Monique's marriage to Michael McKee was allegedly far more turbulent than most people knew, according to a recently filed affidavit.
You can see all sorts of accusations about what goes on inside a relationship, inside a marriage, but you don't usually read bombshell accusations that investigators revealed. They said that Monique had told friends he had been abusive and had made numerous threats on her life during and after her marriage, had forced unwanted sex on her, and had strangled her.
Another witness told detectives that Michael McKee had told Monique that he could kill her at any time and would find her and buy the house right next to her, and that she would always be his wife.
She only really told those closest to her. And so that's why when this murder happened, these family members immediately went to police and said, we think we know who could have done this. We think we know who the suspect is.
One of Monique's closest friends told local affiliate WBNS that Monique confided in her and told her about the abuse at the hands of Michael.
She said, my ex, she said he was bad. She said abusive, very verbally, mentally abusive.
She was psychologically damaged, and she was working on it all the time. But she was also very open about it, which I truly appreciated about her.
According to the affidavit, Michael McKee also showed up at the Tepe home just weeks before their murders.
Turns out that police don't believe that the 30th was the first time Michael McKee had been at the Tepe residence. They think it was him at the residence December 6th, seemingly casing the residence.
Spencer and Monique are not home because they're at the Big Ten championship game. They're watching a game where 18 million others are tuning in to Fox.
And they'll hand it off. Hemby. And that should take us to the end of the first half.
So it's this really exciting weekend for them. And suddenly out of nowhere, Monique says she has to go. And no one knows why. She just leaves the game. Friends tell investigators that Spencer later told them that Monique had to leave because she was upset about something with her ex-husband.
What police are saying is not only was the double murder premeditated, they're saying that he had planned it, he had cased it. It was him on December 6th. It's him when they're killed.
For much more in this story, including what investigators are now saying about the alleged killer's motive, watch Impact by Nightline, The Perfect Couple, now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. Up next, stars set to strut their stuff on Super Bowl 60's red carpet. Meet the vintage T-shirt king who's got the looks even celebs are looking to wear. Welcome back. The Super Bowl might be football's biggest game, but it's also the see and be seen event for players, fans, and celebrities. And this year, many are looking not to a hot off the rack look, but rather what's old is cool again. Here's Nightline's Ashin Singh.
Saturday night, I'm sure I'll get a couple more calls last second. People have parties and, oh, I'm going to be a Seahawks fan for the night. Like, I need one of these, you know?
The countdown is on. The Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots.
We got my team here.
Yeah, you're going to take this one on the way out, right?
Bro, I don't know about that.
Vintage t-shirt dealer Tommy McBuckets is gearing up for the Super Bowl. From tunnel walks and halftime shows to wags showing off their outfits of the day.
You think this is cute?
Superstar Taylor Swift even serving up a game day style of her own. Football season has turned the field into a runway. And for some, the fashion at this year's game will matter almost as much as the Super Bowl score.
Yo, Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
That's it.
Come game day?
Yeah, this will be gone.
Tom DeCigli, also known as Tommy McBuckets, knows that when a new NFL champion is crowned, demand for his older t-shirts will be high. The 31-year-old entrepreneur is a king in the world of vintage clothing.
When did you first realize there's some really nostalgic sportswear that's out there that I can get a hold of?
That's kind of how it all started, because I started thrifting when I was in college. I had no money and just wanted to look cool, and was a big sports fan.
Right.
And just wanted to look cool on a budget.
His business began in his college dorm room.
And we had a pipe in our dorm room, and we would take hangers and hang up all the shirts I would find and thrift, and everybody would just shop, and we had like a little store out of the dorm.
From the dorm to now a warehouse packed with thousands of some of the most coveted vintage tees. Just days away from the big game, Tommy says players from the Seattle Seahawks already claimed first dibs.
I work with a lot of guys on the Seattle Seahawks, and, you know, guys hit me up, yo, what shirts we got? And I'm sure they probably want to wear it game day. It's great for fans too, because like if I'm watching my favorite team and he's wearing a vintage shirt of my squad, I'll be like, that's fire. He's supporting, like, that's something I would wear. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's not just professional athletes looking up to their vintage tee game. Tommy's clientele also includes some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Michael B. Jordan, Tiana Taylor, and Pete Davidson, all looking to get their hands on Tommy's stock.
Yo, what are some of the pieces they're looking for? Like vintage concert tees?
Yeah. Vintage sports tees, just basics like Carhartt jacket, whatever it is. It's pretty much whatever catches their eye in the moment. I can't predict what anyone's gonna buy or want, but I go in with the hopes of my curation and selection is something that, you know, will catch their eye.
Singer and rapper Drake, sporting one of Tommy's hand-selected Nokia jackets in his viral music video for Nokia.
Is that your bestie? I'm an ice boat, we all like Gretzky.
Gotta ask you about that Nokia video.
Yeah, as a huge Drake fan, that was one of the most surreal things, like to see him in that. Hey, yeah, that was sick. I had a few vintage Nokia pieces already, and I was like, oh, maybe this could work. So I sent it their way, and, you know, it clicked.
His curation offering iconic tees from different decades and comprised of pop culture's biggest moments. Janet Jackson, Britney Spears, even Princess Diana.
We got Princess Diana.
Yo!
But some of those sought-after relics come with a hefty price tag.
That's $1,000.
Crazy.
Tommy is just one example of the latest surge in circular fashion. But it seems like everything old is being resold.
Nostalgia plays a huge part in it. The rarer the graphic is, the more valuable the piece is going to be.
Fashion journalist Emily Stokel started Pre-Loved, a platform dedicated to helping people hunt for pre-owned goods.
A vintage piece is inherently one of one. No one else can have it, and that just makes for a special buying experience for the customer.
With the U.S. online resale business skyrocketing, researchers say it's projected to reach $40 billion by 2029. Whether it's something to commemorate this year's Super Bowl or another rare find, Tommy says vintage clothes make more than just a fashion statement.
I think why vintage is something for everyone is because people bond over that stuff. It builds relationships, and it also is just something that is cool to wear, and everybody wants to express themselves that way.
Our thanks to Asha. When we come back, Jason Biggs, nearly 30 years after that American Pie scene few can forget, making his directorial debut. And finally tonight, Jason Biggs is indelibly imprinted on much of America's consciousness as the star of American Pie, and a certain scene is hard to unsee. Decades later, the actor is stepping behind the camera, making his directorial debut, a move he says he's been waiting for. Here again is Nightline's Ashan Singh.
Jason Biggs, welcome to Nightline, man, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Want to talk to you about your new film, but before we get there, I've got to congratulate you on it's almost been 30 years of American Pie. Can you believe it, first of all?
Yes and no. I mean, it's 30 years is insane. It's crazy.
Do you remember filming that iconic pie scene? And did you think that that scene would carry so much lore? Till today.
I don't know that I would have used the word lore, but I certainly, I knew it had some significance. I remember being quite nervous, actually, you know, as we got closer to it, thinking, oh my God, am I really going to do this? And then we filmed it, and after the first take, you know, we cut, and there was a bit of a pause, and then the entire crew burst out laughing.
This was viral before virality existed.
Exactly.
I mean, you just think about how much time has passed. You're now making your directorial debut. I mean, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Untitled Home Invasion Romance.
It actually came to me just to act in initially. And my agent, who had been given a mandate by me a few years ago to really start looking for something for me to direct, because it's something I've always been interested in. And we're like, maybe this could be the one. The biggest thing for me was that it was different, I think surprising and a bit unexpected. But basically, I play a commercial actor in New York City who's on a little break from his wife, and in an attempt to win her back and save his marriage, he comes up with this plan with an acting school buddy of his to fake a break-in so that he can step up and be sort of the hero. But a couple things go wrong.
Let's take a look at a clip from the movie.
Confess, or I'll put a hole in your head. Pull the trigger, you coward! I'm not aiming at you, bro. Oh. Sorry, Suze.
What about this film was the challenge between, you know, having to act, but also directing yourself and directing a whole cast?
I was certainly expecting that to be challenging. Made a point very early on to tell anybody to give me notes. I felt very confident coming into this that I would be good at working with the actors and have some ideas to contribute. I also knew I had a lot to learn.
You found yourself in so many of these kind of genre-bending projects that are comedy-based, but sort of have this sense of reality. I'm thinking of Orange is the New Black as well.
Okay, visits every other week so I can have a life. You said that. These are your words.
But I'm an idiot.
How do you find the realism in your character when you are telling jokes?
This is the Eugene Levy School of Acting, or School of Comedy for me. I've learned so much from him. One of the biggest lessons, I think, is no matter how ridiculous the scene, the movie, doing your best to ground it. Performing comedy like it's a drama. You know, the best comedy is when it doesn't look like you're trying and it surprises you. That's when people laugh.
Appreciate your time. Jason
appreciate
Biggs, thanks so much
man.
for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Our thanks again to Ashen. You can rent or buy Jason's new film, Untitled Home Invasion Romance, out on digital now. And that's Nightline for this evening. Thanks for the company, America. Have a good and safe weekend.